Hey everybody, welcome to the Tiny Studio. It is so good to see you. Thank you for hanging out with me today. We're going to be talking about getting started with your dreadlock journey. What are the methods that you can use or employ to start your own set of locks? Well, there are many methods, but there are three methods that many people use to start their locks. The first is through the method of braiding your hair. You can start your locks through braiding your hair. The second method is the two strand twist method. What is that about? Well, that's when you take your hair and instead of using three strands to braid your hair, instead you'll be only using two strands. When I was a little girl, we used to call this a twist whack. And so this is your two strand. Now some people will get to the end of this twisting, and depending on the texture of your hair, you could just leave it, or what you can do is at the end you could use a rubber band and you could tie your end to keep the twisted strand together. This is a good method, as well as braiding your hair. That is a wonderful method. Both of those methods are really good in getting started, because the idea is that you are not going, well, that you will not be manipulating your hair in any way. Your hair is it's already parted. It's already in the act of being disciplined. So you are disciplining your hair when you braid it or when you put it into the two strand twist method. Now the third avenue, or the third way that you can start your locks, is through palm rolling, and that is how I started my locks. Palm rolling is when you just take a section of your, you make a part or a section of your hair, or I should say you corner off a section of your hair, and then you begin to manipulate it, rolling it, and then you can slowly, as I'm doing here, put your hair into your hands and with your palms begin to roll it. And as you see, it turns into something like this. That's the palm rolling method. Now I have seen other ways that you can begin a set of starter locks. I've seen a method where if you're wearing a teeny tiny fro, where you can take these little sponge thingies that my son used to have and you roll it on your hair. And then and I think that's a really good way to begin to freeform lock as well. Just roll it on your hair, and as you see, your hair will begin to form tiny spirals of hair, or groupings of locks. And if you leave it alone, guess what happens? You have a whole set of locks. And the reason why I'm saying this, that there are three different ways, or many different ways you can get started, but three principal ways, is simply because that will help you if you are on a budget and in these really tough economical times. This will help you keep your coins in your pocket. You know, back in the day, and I hate to say this, back in the day, there was no such thing as a loctician. Okay, there was no such thing as that. You just found somebody who had locks, or dreads, and you ask them, hey, can you dread my hair? Or can you point me in the direction of someone that can help me out? And they would say yes. And then you will go and you will allow them to dread your hair. Simple as that. But now locks have become a commercialized hair style, and so when anything is commercialized, then you know there's going to be money and profit and all of those things attached to it, which in my opinion kind of warps and waters down the experience or the spiritual experience and significance or the cultural experience or significance of wearing dreadlocks. And then you have all these discussions about, oh, my hair is not dreadful, blah, 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 blah. And then, we're on to a whole different tangent. And, if that's not really necessary, just lock your hair. So I started my locks by using the palm method. And see, at the time, my hair, I had a real teeny tiny fro. So I wasn't really palm rolling it then. I was really just twisting it. I should say I was doing the finger roll. Did I just make that up? Probably. I was just I did the finger roll twist on my hair because my hair was very, was short. I had a teeny tiny fro. So that was how I started my hair. And I started it using wax and because I heard that's how you start it. That's what a lot of Jamaicans was telling me to use get some wax and do that. And it worked. It worked. But I had a lot of greasy pillowcases and greasy spots on my furniture because I was using, beeswax. And, beeswax can be greasy, and beeswax also can contribute to buildup, which is something that, you don't want, but something that I have experienced. So you too can start your own locks. And basically all I did was I just parted my hair into little sections, and then I began to lock my hair, or I began to finger roll or palm roll my locks. And it took my hair maybe about 8 months to fully lock. So it takes time. It really does take time. And I really don't think that my locks truly locked totally until about a year or so. So remember, you can start locks too. It's all about knowing your hair, understanding how your hair grows, your wave pattern, your curliness levels, and how to, when you begin, just getting to know your hair. And with braids, that's a great way you can do so. I've seen people who went to the salon, got a set of braids, and just left it alone. And just let their hair begin to dread. And then eventually, as their natural hair begin to lock, then as you can see where the braids begin, and then you just slowly, unbraid your locks, unbraid the hair from the lock. That's a great method. The two strand twist is a great method as well. My best friend is using that method right now. That is a great method. All you got to do is just part your hair, and then you begin to, twist it. You part your hair, you part a section of your hair, just enough, and then you go ahead and you just make a two strand twist. It looks something like this. Just imagine these are just two strands of hair unlocked, and you twist it up. What you can do is, depending on the texture of your hair, and depending on the texture of your hair, you could just leave it as it is, or you can add at the end, you can add a little rubber band to it to keep the twist, the strand in place. Either way, it's a good way, period. The palm rolling method to me is a great way. That's how I started my locks. You have to do whatever it is that you feel is best, and whatever is going to, whatever is good for your own hair pattern. But the reason why I am talking to you today about it is simply because I don't want you to feel that you need to spend hundreds of dollars to grow a set of locks, because you don't. You can do this right now in the comfort of your own home for no coins. I mean, it could be a Netflix and chill type of evening, and you beginning your set of locks. It's a great way to keep those coins in your pocket. And I just say that not to disturb someone else's hustle, but I don't want money to be a factor for you starting your journey. I don't want money to be a situation or become a hindrance or a roadblock to you beginning your journey. So remember, if you want to start your locks, you don't have to be a loctician to do so. 20 years ago, there was no such word as loctician. So you can do it yourself. You most definitely can. And as I said before, there are 3 popular methods where you can do your grow yourself a set of locks yourself. The 3 are Two Strand Twist, palm rolling, and braids. If you have any questions or concerns or suggestions to those who are beginning this journey, please feel free to drop down in the discussion box, or not the discussion box, drop down in the comment section, and we can have a conversation about just getting started. And I will also link a video somewhere in one of these corners where I will, in that video, it talks about how to find a loctician. So if you decide that I think I want a professional to do this, then I list some ways on how you can find the loctician perfect for you. So thank you so much for hanging out in the tiny studio with me, and I hope I gave you some inspiration on how you could do it yourself if you need to. And guess what? No one's going to know. And no one's going to know that you started your dreads yourself. There isn't a dreadlock police around that's going to say, hey, what are you doing? Stop that over there. You can't start your locks on yourself. You don't have the knowledge and you don't have the experience to do so. And you definitely don't have a license. No one is going to say that to you, because it's your hair, right? And this is your journey, and you can do this. I know you can. So thank you so much for hanging out. Do not forget to like this video if I was of help to you, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you'll be notified every time I pop into the tiny studio to talk to you about, well, to give you some encouragement and just to inspire you to start your journey in this world of dreadlocks. Okay? Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.